Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Today is July 16th,
17.
17th, I'm sorry,
All right.
the 77th episode of Grit and Good News, and we're broadcasting, as always, live from our palatial studio here in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the historic Atlas County Courthouse. And we got our man Sam capably running the board. I am your
Sammy B.
Sammy B. I am your co-host Jeffrey M. Lynch, and our man to my right is our buddy Scott
Thank you,
Brooks.
brother. We got a lot of sevens going on there.
We do.
77 is our show, so I can think of
What you got?
one number.
All right.
No, Mecklenburg. I have him down for the Denver Broncos, but Lyle Alzado. Remember that dude for the
I do
Raiders? He
remember
was
him. I
crazy.
do. I
But
did. I had a lot of things going on. I had a rush search.
that's all right.
I had a longer
What do you got?
hockey than all. Ray
Yeah,
Bork,
yeah.
who we talked about last, was one time 74, but he was 77, and he back in the early days of skills competition for the All-Star game, he was hardest shot year after year
Yeah,
after year. First guy ever to be going over 101, Zdeno Charo
yeah. Big
came in
old
at
dude.
103 and took his spot there for a while.
Mm,
Paul Coffey, the defenseman
yeah,
we talked about the other day.
yeah,
Uh, Tyron Smith of the
yeah.
Cowboys.
That's right.
Okay,
And
and,
of the Jets. And
and
now I say he's retired now.
right, and then Pudge Rodriguez, not Carlton Fisk, Pudge
He, he
Rodriguez.
was
I have pictures of him
at 77.
wearing 77.
I thought he was 7. I don't know.
I
All
don't
right.
know.
Well, any more on the list?
And we got Luca.
Luca. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Luca who?
in the Major League Baseball, Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz, two great Red Sox. That's all I got for you.
Interesting. So thank you for being here. It is Thursday. We're here from noon to 1 today, and every Tuesday and Thursday we have a lot to talk about in every show. Some of it's national, some of it's state, some of it's local. Today we're going to have more of a local feel about some things that are going on in our city. But what we talk about today can apply to any city. I've often said that there are two entities, boards or commissions, whatever you want to call them, that are really should be most important to us, and we should really pay attention to what's going on each of those. And one is the school board in our communities, and the other is city council in our cities. It is with the latter of those two that or it is about the latter of those two that we want to talk today, because there's a lot been happening in the past week and a half. Just to give you the overview, on Monday a week ago, as my grandma used to say, Michael Scott, the longtime city manager of Waxahachie, he was the city manager for about 8 years, best I can recall. And then for the prior 14 years of that, he was assistant city manager. But he's been a longtime manager of the city and been involved in a number of things over the years. He's managed the city well, in my opinion. People have said to me, based on my column that I wrote on yesterday about this, that I didn't give any examples of Michael of his effective leadership. And I guess, if you're somebody that wants a one horse town, then you're not going to like any growth. But for those of us who know and realize that Waxahachie is is what it is, and that because it is what it is, that is a quality community with a lot going on, a lot of really good things adjacent to a metro market, that people are going to flock here, and so they are flocking here, and so it's been important to manage that all these years. And so you can look around, whether it be infrastructure issues that Michael has worked with various councils to improve. That doesn't mean that all the work is done and that there aren't things that still great needs, but just look economically, the growth that we've had here, managing that growth is all around us, and not everybody's going to like it. I'm not suggesting that, but you would know a lousy city manager if you had one, because uh, imagine the much greater frustrations of a city that's growing but isn't able to keep up with that growth, whether it be infrastructurally or any other way. So I'm not going to list out the things that I think Michael has done. He's managed the city, and he's managed the city well. And in his, we've got an open records request to look at every one of his performance reviews over the last 5 years. Up until 10 days ago or 11 days ago, the council's, again, every performance review for everybody I've ever reviewed and have been reviewed has areas of improvement. Nobody's
Is the
perfect.
review done by the council?
Yeah, the
Okay.
review's done by the council. So the
Do,
review
do,
is,
do, do you sit in a meeting with the council?
that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like with, I know the superintendents, usually when they have theirs, their contracts are, if it's a good enough review, they extend the contract for an additional year. They add another year on the end of it. I don't know that the city does that way, but there is a sit down, a performance review, and they go through that process. So if you get an A plus 100% perfect performance review ever, then I would say it's not an authentic performance review. There are weaknesses that need to be strengthened. There are behaviors that need to be cleaned up for everybody.
Let's talk about the contract for a second.
Yeah,
Um, what is your understanding of how much he was paid?
250 grand a year is a base, but I mean those we haven't I haven't looked at, or we haven't looked at the contract specifically in quite some time. So and whether or not we do, I'm not sure, but we know it's in that ballpark.
Okay,
He's
and
paid, city managers as a rule, are paid pretty well across the
pretty
country.
well. I was surprised. Reed and I looked at the list of them in the Metroplex.
Yeah,
Obviously, Dallas was over 4, and for some reason, Fort Worth wasn't listed. They had us in Waxahachie down as 285,
that could be.
which could
Yeah,
well be. And I got to tell you, I, Rita was looking, and I didn't scour the list, but that was way on the high side. There's all kind of city managers jobs getting 150, 180, or low 200, and so I just wonder if if he walked into a contract that was traditionally high in his 8 years in that job, did he get a little bumps? How did he
well, I
get
mean,
there?
I don't know how council at that time and every year since determines what they initially what the salary was. I know it's more than the previous
Yeah,
manager, uh, but that was 8 or 9 years ago, and
right.
so I mean, incomes grow
I mean,
usually.
if you start at 190 and you get 10%, now you're up 19
Yeah,
and you're
see,
almost 210. You can get up to 285 in that
yeah, so
time.
again, we have not looked at the specifics. I
Yeah.
know it's Michael was not underpaid, uh, and but at the same time, comparative cities is what you have to look at. So
Mm.
the city managers, again, as a general rule, are well-paid jobs, but it requires a lot of a talent. It requires talent. So I wrote a column, given what happened a week and a half ago, where council met with well, had its meeting. The meeting, if you watch that meeting, I think it was July the what meeting was that? July, not the 11th, because that was this past Monday. No, 14th. It would have been July the 7th, I believe. The meeting went along just like any other meeting, and Michael was there, uh, 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 and I know straight from him and others that he had no idea that they were going to go into executive session for the purpose of uh, separating, as they want to call it, his agreement to work as city manager. When they came out of executive session at 11:30 at night, I think it was, or later, uh, Michael was not there.
So how
So,
long was that session?
well,
I mean,
it
those
was,
meetings start way earlier.
yeah, my guess is that it was an hour,
But it was
maybe just
it
say.
was like after all the other business was taken care
Yeah,
of,
and
they
then
were
they went
done.
into executive session,
Okay.
and then they usually say, the mayor usually says, for those of you that want to stay, that are in the crowd, you can stay. We'll be back when we get back. They don't put a time frame on it. So I'm troubled by all that's happened, and my column was pretty explicit about that trouble that I have with all of this, largely because I have worked with Michael in my own ways over the years and have become close to him. And if anyone believes that that's going to uh, jade my view, there are people that I love over the years where I've had to say this. I think by example, the sheriff of Ellis County, Brad Norman, does an excellent job. I
Yeah.
think he's a good man. He does an excellent job. He's always responded well to me. We're not bosom buddies and we don't hang out just like Michael and I didn't. But there was an event where Brad did something wrong, and I wrote a column about it, and I told him I was going to write a column about it. So it's what I'm writing is authentic and straight from my heart.
Here's something that really bothers me
Yeah,
about this whole thing.
yeah.
And it goes back. Okay, I'm looking at the quote that was put out by our mayor about what had happened.
Billy Wallace is the mayor of
Right,
Waxahachie.
right. The city of Waxahachie remains united and focused on our shared vision for the future. We are committed to transparency. What? First of all, I hate the term transparency.
Yeah.
It's so overused. If you go to a closed door session to talk about firing a guy and then decide to fire him, I don't think that's very transparent. And then when you try to spin the story to say he resigned when he has said he didn't resign, then why would anybody resign from a $285,000 job just on a whim? Who would do that? If you got fired, you get the 285. I can't in any part of me ever believe that he resigned, especially because he said he wasn't going he said he didn't. And why would you?
Well,
And so
yeah.
that's the bothersome thing to me.
So in my column, I address those things. I address a lot of things, and have taken some heat for it. And I'm going to talk about just some examples of that heat in just a minute. Before I get to what's in my column, I will say that for those of you who want to respond to this, particularly those who are in the echo chamber of council members, you can save yourself a lot of time. I mean, you may want to do it for your own self therapy, but you know, you can call me whatever names you want, or I don't position what you've read as a rant, as a tirade, as whatever you want. None of that's going to change how I approach this, because I believe I'm approaching it the way that I'm supposed to approach it based on the information that I have. And but the idea that that the city under the mayor's leadership wants the community to believe that um, this was just a happy-go-lucky agreement, and that Michael was perfectly, you know, fine with this, and that it was him resigning, but they were going to cast it in a different light, or that he was terminated and it was going to be cast in a different light. That's BS. In my opinion, Michael was forced out. And when a council member, I'm just going to tell you this: over the past couple of years, I can't tell you the number of times that Michael has been told by a council person, uh, one of the three uh, that voted to make this happen. There was a 5-0 vote, but I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But one of the others, or two of the others, could be more than one, often said to Michael, make sure your resume is ready. Now, imagine yourself being in a work environment and you're the head of an organization, and the board that you report to, or imagine you're a director and you report to a president, or whatever the relationship is, but you're responsible for something. And the person that has the ability to impact your career, your future opportunities at that company or another, is telling you once is too many in that kind of setting, but to have your resume prepared or ready is unconscionable to me. And that's not how you treat people, first of all. Secondly, that's not how you manage anybody, whether you're the direct manager or you sit on a council. And it represents an immaturity, a pettiness, a belligerence that this council is becoming known for. So the idea that the mayor of this community, a mayor who I endorsed the only time she's running in a contested campaign. There was a longtime council member, Mary Lou Shipley, that she was running against. I wanted to keep Mary Lou in place because thought Mary Lou deserved it, and God knows I wish we had Mary Lou and Chuck Beatty back now. But they went into a runoff, and in that, not her and Mary Lou lost. Billy won, but went into a runoff with another guy, and I endorsed Billy in that runoff. And I was prepared to endorse Billy this time again. She went unopposed, so there wasn't a need for that.
But you
So
did not endorse her
Mary Lou,
against David Hill.
she didn't run
Oh
against
no,
David Hill.
I'm sorry, that was it.
Yeah.
Chet
And that's where some
Trace.
people I've had to some people believe I don't like Billy because I somehow went after her when she ran against David Hill. She never ran against David Hill.
Right.
So Trace Adkins ran against David Hill, and frankly, I endorsed David. But in that endorsement piece, the bottom third of it had to do with the positive impression I had of
I
Trace.
remember that.
And I said, if Trace happens to win this, I will be happy to work with him and support him. Has that feeling changed? Yeah, it has. Partly because of what's going on right now. But going back to the resignation, the mayor of Waxahachie cannot go around and quote to the media or be quoted by the media or tell the media that Michael Scott resigned when Michael Scott did not resign. That is, you can call it a falsehood. You can call it a sleight of hand, as I did in my column. Basically, it's a lie. That's not what happened. Fast forward to this past Monday night when another council meeting was held. At the end of that meeting, Chris Wright, a council person I really like and support, who I do think made an improper vote with this whole thing. Uh, to that point, Chris made a statement Monday night that said, "Look, I thought I was voting for uh, it's pretty much the language of what they were doing with Michael. And as it all, we got through all this mess, which all this mess was not necessary. It just needed to be handled straight up. And if you want to use the word transparently, the what it's being called, just consider the motion that Trace Atkins made this past Monday night, or I think it was, no, not this past Monday night, the Monday when they let when Michael's term employment ended. The motion was, I move, I'm paraphrasing essentially, but I move that we move forward with this separation employment or employment separation, one of the two,
Right.
which is the language they've settled on. Okay, that's cool. Just say that. Don't say to the media that Michael resigned when he didn't, because all you're doing there is trying to give the media, trying to give the city cover. You're trying to act like it was Michael who wanted out, and it was Michael who initiated all this, which is another dose of BS. And for me to get emails and texts from sitting council members that say, "Oh, Michael agreed to do this," or "Michael agreed to do that," do you think I'm stupid enough to just take that at face value without having talked to Michael? Do you, I want to know. In this case, I do want to know what was said and the truth of it. And so I'm pretty frustrated by it. And I think Waxahachie is a better community than having this kind of reckless, what I call reckless, arrogant behavior take place with a city manager. So there's that. All right. So the issue of how this has been framed has been misrepresented. It's been a lie. Michael Scott did not resign. They have an agreement to separate employment, which to me is a different, I've seen separation agreements and things like that, but the way it's worded is a little bit unique to me anyway, and maybe I just haven't seen it before, or knew that language was out there. But separation employment separation, something along those lines, that's fine. But that wasn't what was said, and the mayor has done zip to come out and clarify it, which I think is a problem. At least, the mayor blocked me on Facebook 2 or 3 years ago, so maybe she posted on Facebook that clarification, but she hadn't made a clarification to the media, and she knows at least this media is very, very, I'd say, profoundly interested in what's going on here. The Daily Light that is the only other media that's going to carry this to any significant degree. The Daily Light just reported uh, what the mayor said to them without any desire to know if there's any more to it, and I don't think that's very effective reporting. So there's that issue. And let me just say, Jeff has heard me say this a number of times, but uh, if you throw a stick or a rock, and the mayor Hill used to say this too, but if you throw a rock into a pack of dogs, the one that yelps is the one that was hit. So if you think of the column that I wrote, which is intended to just say, this is what I think about all that's happening. If you, in an analogous way, if you say, okay, that's the rock or that's the stick, and that the council, uh, and they're not a pack of dogs, it's just a euphemism, but it's the pack of dogs. Well, the one that what I did hit, uh, the ones that reacted to it were Travis Smith and Trace Atkins. Travis far more than anybody else, but Trace Atkins, I don't know if he called up himself or had somebody else call up the Sun and cancel his subscription. I mean, the mayor did that last year. So we've got two members of council who, because they don't like the scrutiny or they don't like the way the scrutiny was applied to them, decided to take the woke approach and cancel as though that's going to stop us from printing a newspaper. Um, it is, or putting out a newspaper is silly on their part, and it makes them look foolish. But to call us up, I mean, it's the only cancellation we got through all of this. That and it's one of the council members that was mentioned in my column. So in my column, I basically say that while the vote appeared to be 5-0, I don't believe the vote was 5-0. I believe the vote was it was on paper, but in spirit, as I put it, it was 3-2. Patrick Suter and Chris Wright have long supported Michael Scott as city manager. Patrick and Chris are city council members. They have been for uh, maybe 1 or 2 terms each, so several years, and have supported Michael all along. They supported him publicly and they supported him privately. I know because I've been a part of those discussions. And so when I saw the 5-0 vote, the first time I heard of this was early Tuesday morning. When I saw the 5-0 vote, I'm like, I'd that's I immediately reached out. And so for those, including Travis Smith, who I'm going to read something to you for in just, well, I'll read it to you now. It says, instead of making these baseless claims, why not talk with any member of council first? Heck, I even came by and tried last Tuesday, and you didn't have time for it, but you said you'd like to talk. Haven't heard a peep since then. No, you haven't. Let me just say this. Uh, uh, I have a kind of a like dislike relationship with Travis. Done things with him on the business side. He worked for us at the Daily Light. I hired him at the Daily Light. We've had our great times and we've had our bad times. But right now, I know with the three, uh, Billy Wallace, Travis Smith, and Trace Atkins, I know their motivations. But I wanted to hear something I could rely on as being not from an echo chamber, but from basically the whole package. So I talked to council members, uh, more than one. I've talked to people in some of those meetings, uh, more than once, and so to suggest that I just wrote something without digging into it is one, it's silly. Number two, it's a misrepresentation, and number three, just because I don't reach out for a specific council member to get information, that council member, in this case Travis, can't assume that I didn't talk to anybody. That's short-sightedness, and I don't know what you would call that, but it's a bit immature. You can assume that if you want that I've talked to people before I write a column. In this case, I talked to people more than once, more than one person, and for more than 2 hours. So several hours I've been over this with people.
Speaking of who's talking to who
Yeah.
in Transparency Acts, it begs the question, was this in the works? Did they just decide at the end of the meeting, we're going to go into a closed session and talk about something and come out and we've let the guy go?
Well,
Or
no, again, you're asking me my opinion. My opinion is based on the facts that I know. And I know, as I just said earlier, that Michael has been told by at least one council member, if not more, over the years, make sure your resume's ready. There have been uh, disrespectful, belligerent, rude comments made to Michael and about Michael outside the presence of Michael by some council members. So if anybody wants to believe that Michael was pure in innocent in the sight of these three council members up until Monday the 7th, when they did what they did, you're being a fool, and you're being fooled, because that's not the case. Matter of fact, when Trace Atkins ran for council a year ago this past May, leading up to May, he ran against the mayor, just told you, and I endorsed the mayor, but also said I'd look forward to working with Trace as he won. In a private meeting and in this room, when I had my own solo podcast called Sunspot Live, I interviewed Trace, and I specifically wanted to know whether or not the uh, the issues that he had had with Michael, because there was an issue a few years back regarding a sidewalk. I don't know the specifics, and I don't want to know the specifics. I just knew that there was rather visible issue had been brought to me by a number of people that Trace had an issue with Michael Scott, and that if he won his race, that Michael Scott would be on the chopping block. I wanted to know from Trace whether or not that was true. In a public setting, in an interview, and in a private setting with him and his wife in our conference room, in both settings, Trace said to me, "Not at all. I will give him his fair shake." So if Trace wants the rest of us to believe that a year, a little more than a year being a council person, particularly the first time you've ever been a council person, when in that year, it's going to take you 6 months, if not the full year, to figure out how to what's going on with being a council person. It's not just a simple show up job. It can be a full time job, and it is for most of them that do it well and that care about it. If you if if any of you want to believe that in that setting that Trace gave Michael Scott a fair shake and was supportive of him, and that he didn't carry into the job this notion that he had wanted to get rid of or had an issue with Michael and didn't care for Michael, blah blah blah. I, as I put in my column, I got some oceanfront property in Amarillo to sell you. George Strait said it with Arizona, but
And,
I
and
said,
and we know that I usually am not deep in the dirt of local politics, but let's talk about pardon me, in regards to transparency in the closed session meeting and the rules for open or what you can do open meetings act,
yeah,
and you can't have more than two people in one of these. You know,
true. And so you got to have you can't have a quorum. You can go in an executive session just
right,
like they do
but but
frequently.
but
Yeah,
away from the council.
they can't have any more than two of them that get together. They have a
Yep.
what's called a walking quorum,
Okay,
and
so
that's illegal.
if person A to talks to person B,
Yeah,
and B talks to C, and A talks to C, now you've got three separate discussions as a way of
getting
involving
around it.
the three people.
Yeah,
And again, it's just hard to envision this not being. It's hard to envision just at the end of a meeting saying we're going to go to a closed session, and then we're going to talk about this.
yeah,
And in that time, we're going to decide that he's gone. In that time, we're going to butcher how we do it. Uh,
yeah.
It's beyond comprehension to
It's
me.
it's it it
It's beyond
it'd be foolish
comprehension.
for any one of us to believe that. Of course, there were discussions prior to that, and if they tell you, if any one of the five tell you that they didn't have prior discussion, that what you just said is actually the way that happened. That is that there was no discussion until they got into the executive session on July the 7th in the evening, and they all were made aware of something for the first time, and then acted on it. Then it's you're being silly and foolish for believing that. That would be a lie.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine somebody coming in at one of those five and saying, "Yeah, that's a great point that you're bringing up. I had never really thought of that, and I'm all with you. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do it right now."
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that
not
doesn't.
how things work.
It doesn't. So back to a couple of the other things I wanted to address. Mr. Smith in his post immediately after our my column posted yesterday morning, he says there isn't a single valid statement or assessment in this rant. Councilman Wright quite literally addressed the biggest portion of this in his public comments during Monday afternoon's meeting. What if what he's referring to is the statement that Chris Wright read Monday? It is uh, it, what I'm saying when I wrote about Chris Wright and Patrick Suter was that either they went along because they were asked to go along so as to look unified, or the other three um, and
And
I say the other three, it could have been just the way it was all discussed, but that in Chris Wright's statement, basically he thought they were voting for something other than a a vote to end this relationship with Michael. As I best recall, Chris's statement is that he was voting. He voted for what he believed would be how it would be position, how it would be stated, which is this separation
right.
employment and that sort of thing. So I don't know what Mr. Smith's talking about. I said in my column, either the two, Chris Wright and Patrick Suter, went along to make the council look unified. And I'm here to tell you or make the argument that when I see 5-0 votes by councils repeated or by any group repeatedly, um, if that's what they strive for, then it goes to that old adage: if two people always agree, then only one of them is needed. What I see as an effective council are these 4-1s or these 3-2. While I may disagree with how some of them vote, what at least I get from a vote that's not unanimous is that there was discussion and that people in their own way understood something and voted with their conscience. Not we're just going to try to look unified because the mayor of
Right.
Waxahachie wants the council to look unified. That's absurd.
And what do you see from our former mayor and former councilman and good man David Hill? That's a daisy chain violation of the OMA.
Open Meetings Act. It is. So
So
uh
in the fear of losing everybody who's not from Ellis County, let's take two more points on this and then move
but I may have a little bit more. Let me get
on
through
more
this.
dirt.
Yeah.
National
Um,
dirt. We want
so
some national dirt.
furthering what Travis had to say, just after 5 days of turning over stones, just about every concern that was brought forward to Mr. Scott before he excused himself from further discussions and then requested the separation of employment has been confirmed. Every pattern, look no further for public record of that than Monday's meeting. Another city project and what he's referring to is in Monday's council meeting, that same council meeting, another city project to build a city facility that's now to be projected over $5.7 million over budget, and that the staff had known uh, for about a month before council. Uh, Let me just say this: you know what? I'm going to tell you, as personalities go, I have watched Travis. I have watched this council berate, be rude to, disrespect, be belligerent to developers, contractors, people making presentations in council. I think I know it's fair to say that Waxahachie, with respect to a segment of the development community out in the country today, knows or assumes that Waxahachie's council is going to continue to be whatever word you want to lose, belligerent, rude, disrespectful in its
Cantankerous.
meetings. I mean, it's unacceptable. There are ways to achieve our goals as a city without berating people that come before council, and it needs to stop. And I don't know what it's going to take for it to stop, but the voters are going to have to step in at some point. And you can be belligerent by things you say, and can be belligerent by things you don't say, and by your body language. We just need to hear people out and then go from there. But the idea that we would terminate a city manager because a project that has been in the works is now over budget is what in that case, then the precedent has been set that every project that comes in that a manager is overseeing and is over budget should be fired. Now, if Travis is upset, and he is, that he didn't know about it before staff, well, there's a reason for that. And again, I'm just giving you my opinion. If you are a council member and I'm a city manager, and you've told me time and time again to have my resume ready, or I don't believe I can trust you, or I believe this will be butchered, or that you'll go around my back into staff, all of which I think is fair to assume that the city manager of Waxahachie could believe and had reason to believe, then I'm going to be reluctant to what I tell my council, because council isn't the one that has to do the work. Council isn't the one that has all the knowledge. The staff knowing about it, they had to know about things, but there are a whole lot of nuances in there. If you think the school district that's got a new high school that is being built is going to end up costing what the initial cost was uh, that was given, you're crazy. So it's going to be over budget as well. All these projects are, particularly at a time in America when tariffs are in play, when we're coming out of a major pandemic. I mean, all these things are in play. So the idea that we would berate people in is just unacceptable. And if your echo chamber is patting you on the back, regardless of which council member you are, that does treats people that way, if your echo chamber is patting you on the back and telling you, good job, you nailed that guy, whatever, you got to find another echo chamber, because that's not how Waxahachie needs to be treating people or needs to be perceived. Um, and the other claim here, and then I'll stop, is that Mr. Scott, and this is put in public domain by city council member before the agreement has been. I don't think the agreement has been signed between the city and Michael Scott yet. This is put out. Michael Scott has no way to respond to this, or didn't respond to this. Other things have been said about Michael Scott that Michael Scott has not not been able to respond to. So we're only getting one piece of this, and I resent the fact that we're supposed to just believe this is all true and this is exactly how it went when I know better. Uh, but the idea that, as Mr. Smith says here, that that Michael Scott lost touch with the fact that he's out to was supposed to be serving others is is one, uh, it's a bit hypocritical, and number two, that is an attempt to take what you did, to frame what you did as being justified. Uh, it's the old thing about if you want to, if the liberals are great at it. You demonize somebody, whether it's true or it's false, you demonize them, then you're going to feel better about destroying them. And I think that's what in play from a Dr. Phil standpoint, that's partly what's in play here. And the other thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, is council has to be trustworthy, and every member of council has to be trustworthy. And frankly, I'm not sure I would get my information from any more than two people sitting on current council. And that troubles me because I've witnessed misrepresentations and lies. We're all witnessing one right now where the mayor of Waxahachie, one, wanted a vote that wasn't unified to be unified, in my opinion. And number two is that we're being asked to believe that Michael Scott resigned from his office when he did not resign. And all you need to do is you don't have to listen to me on that. Just go back and watch what the motion was. The motion was not to accept Michael Scott's resignation. If he resigned, that's what it would have said. The motion was to separate employment with Michael, and it's a mess, and it's not going to stop. So, as I told in my column, that the Sun has some risk here because we're the official paper of Waxahachie, which means we get the legals and public notices from the city,
And they pay you
and they pay us based on what
on
number of legals
on
they run. Just when they run, they pay us.
is it like the same rate as
It's
advertising?
the lowest rate on
Lowest
the
rate
rate.
on
Yeah.
the ad chart.
And
Okay.
so if these three council members are angry at me, and I'm sure they are, as I told you, Trace Atkins called up and canceled his subscription, and so I know they're angry, and I'm willing to sit down and talk with any of them separately, or I can't talk to all three of them together without it being an Open Meetings Act. But I'm willing to do it however you want to do it. I'm willing to call a press. I told Travis, call a press conference, set the record straight, do something rather than just taking these silly
Lead follow or get out of the
backdoor
way.
orders.
Yeah.
Do something. Call a press conference and set the record straight, because you're going to find yourself, in my opinion, I think the risk here for lawsuits and not just on one thing, but on multiple things involved in this is very possible. And the city is putting itself at risk if they don't get this straight. But we are not going to stop. And if it means the three council members that I have referred to, as Travis says, no discussion, not one discussion has been had to change the paper record. Well, of course not. I'm not talking about before. Well, I do think it has been, but maybe not before, but subsequent to this column. If they're gonna go public, if members of their families and their friends are gonna go public with all kinds of nasty stuff, you're gonna call up and cancel your subscription to the newspaper, then you're out to create. That's a form of retaliation. So the ultimate retaliation here would be for them to say, the Sun's no longer the paper of record. We're going to shift that over to, let's say, the Daily Light, which is owned by a guy in New Jersey, uh, and we're going to place our legals there. Uh, that's a risk I knew I would take, but that's my job. And Travis Smith was a member of the Daily Light. He's been an editor before. He's called people out before, and he knows dang well that the role of a newspaper is to be a watchdog. So there you have it. I'll have more to say in another column next week because I'm going to go a little deeper on some of this stuff. But we got to get this right. It's not acceptable what's going on now. So to the mayor, since you're the face of the council, although you're just one member of council, uh, you got to set this record straight. And if you don't, then we're going to continue to do our part in trying to set it straight for people. All right. Anything else on that? That
Not
was a
really.
mouthful.
That was
All
a
right, let's
mouthful.
talk quickly about Biden and the Autopen. So we've got two members so far that have come so far out of the people that have come to Capitol Hill to talk. Some have talked in these meetings. These meetings are, I believe, I don't, maybe they are in open court. Not all of them are. So I believe some of them are in private session. but two folks, one, who was it that's already taken the fifth? Oh, the doctor, Biden's doctor, who never said anything but that Biden is capable of doing the job and move forward. He's strong. I like bull. Has pleaded the fifth in those hearings, and then yesterday, the chief of staff of Jill Biden, who many believe might have been running the country, if you can imagine that prospect. Her chief of staff also pled the fifth. So when you plead the fifth, it's not fair to assume that somebody's guilty. But you can begin to understand that the whole plead the fifth is that they don't want to be self-incriminating. So they don't
Right.
want to put themselves in a position where they could be uh, uh, accused or charged or
Yeah.
indicted or whatever.
I always think if you take the fifth that you're guilty.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know any
I think
circumstances where you wouldn't.
well, if you want to, in the name of real fairness, it's there as a right. It's not
Right.
there to be assumed that we're guilty, because that would kind of be an oxymoron to the right to have the use the Fifth Amendment.
Right.
But the Fifth Amendment, when you take it, the only reason you take it is it
You
says
do
when you
not
say
want
it,
to incriminate
yeah, you
yourself.
don't
Yeah.
want to put yourself in harm's way. But more to come on this. We don't have enough time today to talk about it, but I think this is going to be a bigger deal than a lot of things that we're hearing about now. Jill and Joe Biden should be called. I think they will be. Others are going to be called, and we'll see what happens with this Autopen. But there are pardons made to people, both current and preemptive pardons that
Which is a new
Biden.
type of pardon that we had
Yeah,
never heard of
yeah,
before.
it's
Right.
incredible. Imagine being told you can go do what you want to, but you won't be charged. Uh, Biden's going to have to struggle through it.
It's a blank check
Yeah,
if
it
you
is a
want to
blank
know it.
check. Um, so there you have it on the auto pen. What's our other? Let's see. All right, so Sammy's got his 5 random thoughts. What do you got for us, son?
5 random thoughts. I haven't done this in a minute. Put me on the spot today.
You can handle it.
Number one, why do the baseball managers show up like they're about to go play at shortstop?
What do
Why
you
they
mean? Why they dress like
why
a
they
player?
dress up in the full uniform?
That's just been, I guess it's tradition.
It has to be because
How would you want him to dress?
like a football coach, NBA coach. I know. I mean,
Well, one reason might be that they play in a climate, the time of year where it's outside 99% of the time and it's hot 99% of the time.
yeah,
And to wear a suit or wear a hoodie or I mean, a polo might, like we're dressed,
yeah,
might be acceptable, but I think it's just tradition.
yeah. I thought of that,
And you
and
know what? It's one of the longest running
yeah.
professional sports. So
Yeah.
tradition.
Yeah.
Number two is quick. Steph Curry is the GOAT point guard. Had to throw
Okay.
that in there. He
Whatever.
is.
Whatever.
Number three is a little quote that I like. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. That's from a quote from
You're a
Michael
little what?
Stitious.
Stitious.
But
You're
I
just
am
not
a.
the super kind.
Just a
That's a
little stitious. I like it.
that's a quote from a funny show. Number four, country music is the best music. Starting to grow
I'm
on
with
country. I
you.
love
I'm
country
with you
music.
on that.
And number five, deadest day in sports is what they call it. Is the worst day of the year.
And that was
Yesterday.
so it's the every Wednesday after the baseball All-Star game is the deadest day in sports.
Right.
And the only thing that would have been on last night
The
was
Open.
well, no, the Open starts today.
Didn't it start in like 1 a.m.?
Well, it's in Ireland.
Yeah.
So they're 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
So
12:35.
Yeah.
12:35.
huh?
It
12:35
start.
was the first tee time.
Oh, yeah, 12:35 a.m.
A.m.
hours, our time. But so so the only thing on TV in terms of a sport to watch, I think last night would have been the
Oh,
WNBA
WNBA and the summer league.
Summer
Mavericks
League.
played
Yeah.
last night.
But
So it's not horrible, but still.
Hey, we were looking for something to watch on TV, and I was thinking, we were talking about no sports and none of our favorite shows. Um, there's the new Happy Gilmore movie
yeah.
coming on. I thought it's been forever since I've seen that movie, so we watched Happy Gilmore,
Oh, the
It's
first
it's
one.
good,
the
huh?
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where he punched Bob Barker or
yeah,
Bob Barker punched him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love
multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this gal that was the female lead, I looked it up in the movie, Julie Bowen, just the cutest little thing. She has a um, Princess Di haircut. Remember how great that haircut was?
Yeah.
and she reminded me a lot of Princess Di, and,
Yeah.
and so I was reading about this, and she was shocked that movie's been over 30 years,
Yeah.
and that she got a role in the new movie.
Yeah,
And
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Sammy doesn't. Sammy would have no concept of Princess Di. Isn't that something?
Princess Diana.
yeah,
I mean, you know
I
who
know what
she
happened.
is.
I know what happened to
Well,
her.
yeah, but you know because you read about it. But you
Yeah.
didn't experience her
No, I have no idea who she
as
is.
as royalty over
Did she
there.
die in a car crash?
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
it
she
was
was married to
tragic.
Prince Charles.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she
I mean,
Prin-
That's like the closest equivalent there is when Lyle Lovett
yeah,
married Julia Roberts.
yeah, that's
Okay.
hard to understand those. All right, Sam, good job. So let's talk about he said. Okay, we're gonna get through this fast. Winner of the Open, which is the formerly known one in at some point in my life as the British Open.
what?
Started today. I've got it on in my office. And so, Sammy, who's going to win it?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah,
I don't
okay, well,
watch
that
golf.
ain't gonna happen. But
Why?
go
Why?
ahead.
Why is it called? Why is it in Ireland? But you keep saying the British Open.
Well, I didn't say I said at one point it was called the British Open, but I may have just
Oh,
in my
Did we not
dad
talk about this on
we
the
did.
air?
you did.
Okay.
You
It's
did.
called the
It's
Open.
called the Open.
One because it's been around
Yeah.
longer than any.
I knew it was called the Open. I just thought it
Well,
was in Britain.
Well, usually it's either in England, Scotland, this
Oh,
time in Ireland, and they only have about how many? I don't know how many courses. There's a handful of courses, and they rotate it.
Right.
So like right now, where they just played the U.S. Open, Oakmont, it hosts the U.S. Open 8 years from now.
oh, okay.
In England, in the
So they have a
Open, it's
schedule.
not that many years in between, I don't think. But yeah, you go to
Okay.
different. And this one is in Portrush, Northern Ireland, which is where not far from where Rory lives and
Yeah.
Shane Lowry.
Yeah. So I don't watch golf, but I am gonna go with the SMU native Bryson
Okay.
DeChambeau.
I'm going with the man from Northern Ireland who helped me win the pool one year on the Open. And I'm going with Shane Lowry, and he's still playing a lot of good golf.
Yeah, he
and he
is.
knows how to play those
He's
links
getting a little
courses.
too emotional out there. He needs to calm it down.
So,
Who you got,
And
Dad?
I'm going with the Scottishman, Is that how you say it?
Scotsman.
Scotsman, Robert McIntyre, lefty. He won the Scottish Open last year, which is always the tournament going before the Open.
So, do
Um,
y'all know who's like actually predicted to win it?
well,
Well, everybody, there's a million
they're
people
all
making
yeah, but-
predictions.
people from this is an Open, so a lot of different people we've never even heard of can be in it.
Okay.
But right now, I think some of the regulars at the top of the list
Yeah.
because they're
And
probably about to finish with the
Yeah.
first round.
I've always thought it was confusing that you've got a country called England, a country called Scotland, and Ireland and Northern Ireland. Those are all countries, but they're all part of Great
Open.
Britain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
weird.
yeah, it's just called the Open for that
Right.
reason.
Okay.
All right, MVPs for 25, 26 in the NFL, Sammy.
NFL, I got 3. I'll tell you, Joe Burrow's gonna win it. Joe Burrow's gonna win it. He's a great quarterback. I
that's-
got Josh Allen and then Patrick Mahomes.
Well, why'd you name the other two if he's going to win it?
Well, there's always like 3 finalists, isn't there? I mean, might as
I don't
well.
know.
I don't
I
know.
didn't ask you for 3 finalists. I
Well,
want to know who's
I
going to win
gave
it.
it to you.
All right. What about
Joe Burrow.
What about you?
I'm
Joe Burrow.
going Josh Allen.
I got Josh Allen to win it 2 times in a row. All right, Major League Baseball, Sammy. There's 2 of them, American League and National League.
Oh, I don't.
Okay,
I'm a guess. I'm a guess. Shohei for one, and then Juan Soto for the other.
Very good.
Good.
Well, except they're in the same.
Oh, then I'll
league.
go Aaron Judge.
Yes. Go well, Aaron Judge, and then who's the other one?
Show.
Okay.
Okay, that works.
All right, who you got, Jeff?
I got the same too.
All right, I got Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
You don't have Shohei Ohtani?
Well, I picked Juan Soto over
Oh, okay.
Shohei.
Okay.
All right, what about the NBA going into this season, which is going to open here before we blink?
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
So is hockey.
Nikola Jokic. He should have won it last year. He's gonna win it this year.
That means
He averaged
you
a
would have
triple
voted
double.
for him to win 4 in a row. That's stupid.
No, I'd rather that than Shea.
You know,
You
hoops,
got a bad attitude.
hoops is my worst sport, and so I'm just gonna say I think Kevin Durant has really got something. What do they call?
I love
something under a burr under his
Where'd my
saddle.
sign go?
I love it. I love it.
Here, no. We took a major league mental detour right there.
Mental
ahead.
detour.
Kevin Durant.
Because I think he was an MVP at one time. I think
Yeah, I don't know when he won it,
Do
but
you even know who he plays for?
he's with Houston now.
Hey.
You said you didn't follow.
I don't, but I'm just saying I'm looking for the big comeback out of him.
All right,
Okay.
cool. I like that kind
I
of.
do have Luca finishing in the 3 finalists, by the way. I gotta
Well,
I
say
don't
that.
want to be a
both
clone.
of
I
you
don't want to
can
be a clone on this
both of you can
show.
step aside.
Step
The
aside.
winner of the 2025-26 NBA season will be Jalen Williams
I can
from the
anybody
Oklahoma
other
City
than
Thunder.
oh, Dad,
I know
that's
that hurt you.
Is he the guy that the Mavericks traded to the Knicks and then the Knicks traded him to them?
No, this is that
Oh, that's
that kid.
Brunson. I'm thinking of
yeah, you're
Brunson.
thinking of
All right,
Brunson.
and then the last one is NHL. Who's going to win the Stanley Cup MVP, Sammy?
Connor McDavid.
Draisaitl.
Now that's different than you told me 30 minutes ago.
I changed.
All right, I've got Connor McDavid as well. All right, time for our rhyme of the day, Jeffrey.
Page 79. We are going with, okay, so my 70th birthday is well over, but now I am tied with my brother to both be 70 years old. How can that be?
So how long is it? How long will that last?
It's a 9-day tie of what's
Yeah,
called,
that's
what's
and
what's called,
you're not step brothers or half brothers, right?
he was born July 21st of 54. I was born July 12th of 55. So every year I catch him for 9 days, and then he goes back a year ahead
But
of me.
he's your blood brother.
He's my blood
Yeah,
brother. Yeah,
because like in my case with a half sister who's 6 months younger than I
that
am.
doesn't count.
Yeah, I was gonna
Irish
say.
twins are
Yeah.
two born to the same mother in less than
What are
12
they
months.
called?
Irish
Oh,
twins.
okay.
It's, it's a derogatory term putting down
Oh,
the Irish. It's just like when they called a mulligan golf. It's like, oh, those Irish guys, they always take an extra ball all the time.
yeah,
It's just a put
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Just a put down.
yeah.
My Irish twin. Today, my bro had a birthday. I am his Irish twin. 2 babies in a year. I hope I was a win. Another followed in just a scant 15 months, just like my 3 sons, in trouble by the tons. My folks then took a break from the baby factory. Then, just like that, there came another 3. They finally broke the male streak with a couple sweet little girls, full of laughter and full of curls. In between was boy number 4 to keep an even score. Some parents would have been in dismay, yet they loved us all every single day. Last month, my mom passed away. We all miss her every day. My dad's a little confused. We try to keep him amused and talk about the time when coffee was a dime.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So 9 days.
9 days.
Yeah, that's like my buddy Maury and I. He turned 64 last October. I turned 64 in June, so he'll always be older than me.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's do our history.
Today in history, I went.
How many of them are there?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and
All right.
I was 7 and 3. I had one double, and it was on the last one. And I hope you all get the
All
double
right,
there.
let's go for it.
Here we go. During the Civil War, Congress approved the Second Confiscation Act, which declared that all slaves taking refuge behind Union lines were to be set free.
1869.
1865.
1862.
I got it.
This was during the war.
You barely got it.
What they were really saying is, you were a slave down there and
Yeah.
you escaped and now you're up north.
Yeah.
Well, you're good with us.
Yeah.
'Cause we don't want slavery.
Right.
Here we go. Willis Carrier produced a set of designs for what would become the world's first modern air conditioning system.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, now think about this a little bit.
I'm thinking about
Thinking about famous
world.
brands
Yeah,
of
Carrier.
air conditioners.
Like
Did,
Carrier.
did y'all have air conditioner when y'all were born?
Yeah.
Just kidding. It was a long time ago.
Keep talking like that, and you'll be sleeping out in the tent in the backyard.
There you go.
1908.
1937.
02.
Yes.
Good job. And now we have the
Take
Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
Yes, in
Been in it.
Syracuse.
Yep.
Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California. I'm so mad I didn't get this one right. I mean, I wish I had the double. You'll know why soon.
Disneyland.
Disney opened in Anaheim, California, after its year-long construction. Can you believe they did that in a year?
That's
The,
amazing.
the park drew 1 million visitors its first 10 weeks.
Yeah.
1933.
1956.
1955. The year I was born.
I knew it was
Ah,
close to that.
An Apollo spaceship docked with a Soyuz spacecraft in orbit, the first superpower link up. That was a Russian. That was the U.S. plane docking up in space with the Russian plane, which was called the Soyuz.
1968.
1963.
75.
Dang
Ooh, I
it.
got it barely.
Dang it. Dang it.
This is a bad tragedy. I do remember when it happened. 114 people were killed when a pair of suspended walkways above the lobby of the Kansas City Hyatt Regency Hotel collapsed during a tea dance.
How many were killed?
114 people.
Wow.
That's awful. Oh, what was last year?
75 was the last year.
I'll go 97.
I don't remember that, but I'm going to say 87.
81.
Dude.
You're in it.
You're getting smoked, Sammy.
Gosh dang it.
All 298 passengers and crew aboard Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 were killed when the Boeing 777 was shot down over rebel-held eastern Ukraine.
Oh, 1991.
No. 2019.
2014.
I've never heard about that.
All right.
Civil rights icon Representative John Lewis, whose
Yes.
bloody beating by Alabama state troopers in 1965 helped galvanize opposition to racial segregation, died at age 80.
2024.
2022.
2020.
Well, that was
You know,
not a very good.
Rush used to, Mr. Lewis had a cool dialect, an interesting, and he used to say, Rush used to imitate him, Selma. That's how he used to say it. Selma.
Um, this next one has one of my favorite words. I swear that next week in my Substack writing, I promise to use this word because it is such a great word.
Yeah.
You ready? A report said egregiously poor decision making resulted in a chaotic scene at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde that lasted more than an hour before the government was finally confronted and killed.
That had to have been 2023.
Oh, that's probably right, but I'll say 2022.
2022.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God.
You know,
I got two there.
Are you kidding me?
these this
8-1.
this column is syndicated by I don't know who it is. Oh, by the Associated Press.
Yeah.
You know, we don't all very often have a Texas related
No,
event in
yeah,
there,
yeah.
but that was probably
I
the
bet
most
you next year
important thing
we'll
that
have-
happened on July 17th.
Well, I bet you next year on July 4th we have Kirk County, the flood.
I'm sure we will.
So that's it for us today. Oh, you can find us right here as usual, but we have content, lots of content that is on our Substack.com platform under Grit and Good News. So you go there and subscribe for $5 a month, and you'll get an email of a newsletter on Monday morning and on Friday morning, consisting of all of the content that we have. Each one of us has responsibility for content on that page or in that newsletter. So we hope that you can join us. Substack.com, Great and Good News. You'll see it there. Before we close, I just want to again say that in the coming days, we will have news reports about what's going on in Waxahachie with the city manager position, about the way that it's been handled. Next week, I'll have another column about it as well. My commitment is to do what a newspaper and a media outlet is supposed to do, and that is be a watchdog. And if you disagree, disagree, but we're at least going to expose it to the point where it's a thought and it's a discussion. And to counsel, we can do better. Berating people, belittling people, being rude to people and disrespectful, whether it's internal or external, we can't be doing that anymore. And I say to the mayor, please set the record straight that Michael Scott did not resign to save the potential of legal issues. I just say there's some things that need to be done here, or it's going to get even uglier, and we'll be following it. So with that, thank you for being here. It's all yours, Jeffrey.
Make it a great day and put a smile on somebody's face.